Now, speaking of the Lions, every Lions fan out there will tell you that every time the draft comes around, they get super scared because they have no idea what the fuck the Lions are going to do. You rewind, I don't know how many years ago, they took wide receivers with their first round pick for 3 straight years. Granted, they did get Megatron out of it, but 1 out of 3, that's not, unless you're playing baseball, that's not good numbers. That's not good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But you called this one. I'm pretty sure this was your pick for the Lions. Jeff Okudah out of Ohio State, the corner. And it was a pick that they drastically needed help in, especially since they traded away Darius Slay. That defensive backfield it needs help. It needs help. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of people thinking that they would go, was it Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson? The linebacker. There was a lot of pub that he would go to the Lions, and I think I had him going to the Lions as well. But you hit on this one in particular, and I think it's a great pick for the Lions, and the Lions did not fuck this up. I really don't think they did.
No, absolutely not. I mean, he's the best defensive back in the draft, hands down. I was looking at a crazy statistic before the draft even started, that he went through the entire season last year without picking up any penalty. Didn't have a pass interference penalty, didn't have a holding penalty. To me, that's just crazy.
That's a great
especially
stat.
Playing in the Big Ten, where there's some pretty damn good teams in the Big Ten that that he was tested a lot, and to not have any penalties, and then also be the number one guy in the Big Ten. So it says a lot about them. To me, the Lions, they hit this draft pick. It's just too bad that everything as far as their coaches and the Lions management, and they had to basically shit the bed with Slay and run Slay out of town and trade him away for basically fucking nothing.
Right.
Because it would have been pretty special to watch both of these guys, suit up for the Lions every Sunday. Talk about turning a defense around. That would have been, having a secondary with both of those guys in it would have been a big deal. But now, you get rid of Slay, who was your best player on the team, and you're getting Okudah. It's the best pick for him. But it's always the same thing with Lions. It's always the what if, the what if factors.
And just looking at it from face value, I mean, a corner's not a sexy pick. A corner's not a running back that's going to get you, a Lions team that hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher in like 100 years. And it's not a quarterback, where I thought that if the Lions went quarterback here, they would be completely ridiculous. I don't understand the hate for Stafford. I really don't. All the dude does is throw for 5,000 yards every season to mediocre. I mean, Galladay's coming up and is becoming a vital part of that offense, but it's not a scary receiving core. They're not gonna rush for 100 yards every game, so it's definitely not on the Lions losing is definitely not on the shoulders of Stafford. I mean, obviously, this last year didn't play a lot, and so it was backup quarterbacks, but I'm not a Lions fan, so I guess I don't understand the hatred for Stafford. I look at Stafford as probably one of the top 5 fantasy quarterbacks with all the yards and touchdowns and shit that he gets. So I don't see the hate. I don't see the hate, but the Lions on their number 1 pick. If you're a Lions fan, you cannot bitch about this pick because this kid's gonna be awesome. I really do. I really think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.